Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen. The short presentations are always the difficult ones. I can talk about Kebony for hours, but I will try to get to the point. This is a piece of Kebony. It looks like tropical wood, it acts like tropical wood, it just isn't tropical wood. It's made out of sustainable softwood, fast-growing softwood, and that's what we do. I think everybody can understand why people would like to use tropical hardwood. I mean, it looks fantastic, it acts fantastic, it's just not sustainable. And that's the problem we address in Kebony. Who are we? We started the first factory in Jebsen, south of Oslo, in 2009, and been growing by 30% plus per year since then. We have 76 employees, mostly in Norway, but also expanding internationally, and sold to more than 32 countries last year. We are not running around in 32 countries. We are running around in 5 countries at the moment. So these are just orders we're getting in, sending containers out. And I'll come back to how we generate demand for our products. We are currently owned by, and you know, we have done a lot of mistakes in Kebony, but a couple of things we got right. We have a fantastic shareholder group, Munich Venture Fund, or Munich Venture Partners, Environmental Technologies Fund in London, Ventures in France, Investinor in Norway, and the Hög families are all backers. And you know, we talked about, or it was talked about investors earlier and the need for capital. And I would say, like most investors are claiming to be long-term. You hardly hear about investors being short-term. But you know, those long-term investors are only long-term until they are short-term, and then they are really short-term. So the choice of investors are really critical when developing a company. And as you can see on this curve, it's taken a long time. But you know, prior to joining this industry, I worked 10 years in technology, including 7 years in opera software, and also 8 years in investment banking. And you know, in those industries, people are looking for the new thing all the time. In the building material industry, it's a huge problem. Nobody's looking for the new thing. A builder would like to use exactly the same thing as he did on the last project. And you know, probably the material he also learned to use from his father. The only innovators in this industry is really the architects, and that's what we started to focus on pretty early. I think our ambitions are underpinned by 3 macro trends. You know, the problems with using tropical hardwood, I don't think I have to explain. It's a huge issue, and it was mentioned several times earlier today. Then another one is that a lot of the traditional wood manufacturers are using traditional impregnation, including toxics like, you know, copper, arsenic, and so on. You don't have to use that anymore. There are much better solutions. And then obviously also that people are looking for long-lasting products. So life cycle is becoming more and more important. So what is Kebony? It's fairly simple. What we do is that we impregnate the wood with a bio-waste. It's an alcohol made out of bio-waste, typically sugar production, corn production. We impregnate that and we heat up the wood. In that process, we're changing the cell structure, locking in the alcohol, and in that way we make the wood much harder, much more stable, and much long-lasting than the raw material we started with. And that's also the problem with you know, traditional impregnation, that the chemicals doesn't even stay in the wood. It comes down out of the wood and it goes down into the soil, which is a huge problem. I mean, like when they're building kindergartens and schools in Norway and changing the cladding, you know, you're not only changing the cladding, you're changing the soil as well. Not with Kebony. You can even eat it. It doesn't taste good, but you can. So, what have we achieved this far? We have proven the technology and the product quality. We have now thousands of installations around the world. We have proven customer acceptance by the growth we have shown you. We have proven the industrial scale manufacturing plant in Jebsen. We're now building our second one in Belgium. So the next step is basically rolling out that global business model. And you know, we spent a lot of money in this project, and Norway with 5 million people isn't big enough for us. So we need to go international. I talked about like the industry being conservative, and that's basically, you know, when we started in 2009, it was like winning world championship in bad timing with the financial crisis. We went to distributors, they were not interested. The product weren't proven. We went to builders, not interested, not proven. Then we went to the architects. Snøhetta and Lundhagen and those were the first one to use it, and that was fantastic. When they started to use it, less known architects started to use it, and then the end customer started to demand it, and then the distributors came to us and asked for the product, and wow, we got distributors as well. So, you know, I think Kebony can be used for most things in this world, and it's a good thing to use as well, but we had to choose to fill the capacity of the factory. So we start with outdoor decking and outdoor cladding. In Norway, our product is mostly used as a replacement for the traditional impregnation of wood. Internationally, it's almost only the replacement of tropical hardwood. So, you know, going back, when the distributors didn't want really to distribute our product, what we did was that, okay, we said, we need to generate or create a brand, and that is Kebony. Most wood today is just wood. It's like Siberian larch, it's pine, and all those. It's not a brand. The margins are really low. We created Kebony, and to do that, we need to create fantastic projects. We need to be part of reference projects internationally. And that's basically what we did, and here are some examples of cladding projects in Norway and internationally, and decking projects. A couple of really nice examples, the one from New York with the UN building in the background. You know, the mayor, the former mayor, Michael Bloomberg, was the first one to basically ban use of tropical hardwood. And today, you could even go to Times Square and see the benches of Kebony standing there. I mentioned that we could use Kebony for most things. And you know, we have done other projects because we think, it's created a PR opportunity for us. But you know, those PR opportunities has, you know, changed into huge market opportunities. Today, or this year alone, we have sold wood to China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and many other Asian countries, making all type of products with Kebony. IKEA is launching a huge knife and cutlery series next year with Kebony. Victorinox doing the same. You have other companies like Starbucks using Kebony for benches and cladding in the US. So you know, it's market driven. And I think what's fantastic about it is like these are big corporations who's extremely afraid of their reputation. That's why the market creates the opportunity for us. You know, why is Starbucks using it? Because they don't want to be seen by using tropical wood. You know, the big French distributor, Saint-Gobain, was caught by having a lot of illegally logged timber in their yard in the UK last year. And wow, front page of Sunday Times. You know, you can, and that's about technology as well. You know, what technology do is fantastic. It basically takes those who doesn't do good. And that's where the end consumer coming in, the big corporations coming in, they need to do good to basically win you. So what we started with, I talked about Snøhetta and the leading architects. Today we're working with other international, like Foster's and Partners, Henning Larsen Architects in Denmark. You know, internationally, it's architectural driven. We also done some high, reference projects that I talked about, extremely important for PR. And you know, we're a poor company and we have to use it. So nice pictures are basically spread virally tremendously fast. So take this project, the one top left, which is called the Creod, made by a Chinese architect for the London Olympics. We sponsored him with 7,000 euros of wood. And you know, that picture alone has been, you know, shown about 1,000 times in press all over the world. Tremendous PR for very little money in the first place. Obviously, creating the brand has been very important for us. You know, we're competing against like Siberian larch and pine. This is Kebony. And you know, I love when Atle Antonsen on Mandagsklubben is mentioning he has this beautiful Kebony terrace. That's fantastic. Then then we have really achieved something. So, you know, PR is basically, I wouldn't say everything, but it is a lot. And I think all the international recognition we got is very important. I think the reason why we sold to 32 countries last year was mostly because, or at least it started with becoming technology pioneer of World Economic Forum in 2014. You know, we are, as I said, basically in 5 countries at the moment. We sold to 32, it's increasing all the time. And that's really the opportunity. So what is our focus going forward? It's basically 3 main priorities that we have. One is obviously to expand distribution internationally. We're building up organizations in Germany, France, and in the US. You know, in the US we had 2 million in revenue 2 years ago. We're hopefully going to do 35 to 40 million this year, and it's all about like getting those containers over. And then international brand. You know, we need a brand to be able to sell, and that's basically that's the focus. And then I'm talking about, you know, expanding production capacity. The partner we have in the US is planning a factory. We have partners in Japan discussing a factory. It is long term, but the opportunities are there, and we can use local wood in all those places, and that's the opportunity, and that's how we can help, you know, the tropical hardwood issue. Thank you.